Man, this is another one of those stories that you don't know whether to puke or cry. It's absolutely insane. There's a book called "This Book Is Gay," and a school, in fact, many schools across the country, but the scandal exploded in North Carolina when a mom went to the school board to complain about this. I mean, I'll talk to you a little bit about the book later, but I mean, it really is mind blowing. And so this mom, Christy Wade, went to the school board meeting there. It's the Charlotte Mecklenburg School Board, and read some excerpts. Obviously, we can't show you the whole thing. This book is so grotesque, so outrageous that we couldn't expose you guys to all of it. So we've got some parts muted out where she's reading parts of it. But listen to this; it will blow your mind.
This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson was found in a 7th grade classroom at Collinswood Middle School. It was also on the ELA recommended reading list for 7th graders at J.M. Robinson. I'm going to read from Chapter 9, The Ins and Outs of Gay Sex, starting at page 201, Part 1, Boy on Boy Sex. Perhaps the most important skill you will master as a gay or bi man is a timeless classic, the hand. Good news is you can practice it on yourself. The bad news is each guy has become very used to his own way of getting himself. Learning how to find a partner's personal style can take ages, but it can be very rewarding when you do. Something they don't teach you in school is that in order to be able to come at all, you or your partner may need to finish off with a handy. A lot of people find it hard to come through other types of sex. That is fine and certainly not something you have to apologize for. A good handy is all about the wrist action. Rub the head of his back and forth with your hand. Try different speeds and pressures until he responds positively. A bad handy is grasping a and shaking it like a ketchup bottle. Finally, my misunderstanding about rubbing two together wasn't far off the mark. Rubbing them together in one hand feels awesome. Mega combo handy, trademark pending. It's no wonder that 92% of CMS graduating seniors aren't college or career ready when you're instructing them on how to give and handies instead of teaching them how to add and subtract.
What do you do with that? Right? What do you do with that? And some of you are probably thinking, how could they even show that video? Yeah, I agree. How could that mom stand up there and read that? I agree. And yet, folks, this is what is being taught to 7th grade children. Okay, these kids are 12 years old, sometimes 11, sometimes 13. We're talking very young children here who would still be, playing on the playground, and yet this is the kind of stuff that they are teaching them. I went to the Amazon page for this grotesque book, and it says, there's a long-running joke that after coming out, a lesbian, a gay guy, bisexual, or trans person should receive a membership card and instruction manual. This is that instruction manual. So, folks, they are giving 7th grade children, all over the country, by the way, this is not just in North Carolina, an instruction manual for what to do now that they're homosexuals and lesbians and things like this. Now, the school superintendent said, oh, well, we don't know how that got in the classroom, or the teacher didn't mean to give it to the children, and yet at the J.M. Robinson Middle School, this disgusting book is actually on the ELA recommended reading list for children, again, in 7th grade. And the mom is right? And instead of teaching the kids how to read, instead of teaching them how to do math or to learn history or science, they're teaching them this kind of disgusting filth. This is, like I said, it's happening all over the country. I quickly put this into some news search things, and I found that there are other scandals around the country with this same book. In Dearborn, Michigan, a concerned mother actually filed a police report about this, saying that it was dangerous and that they were giving this filth to children. According to the ABC affiliate in Detroit, WXYZ, this mother, her name is Stephanie Butler, said, I knew I had to take action before somebody got hurt. She says this book contains actual arguments against Christianity and against Islam. So a spokesman for the police department says they're investigating. Frankly, folks, I think this really ought to be regarded as a crime. Right? In states all across this country, we have laws against giving obscene materials to children. If anyone, other than a school teacher at a government brainwash camp were to go and give this kind of filth to a child on a playground, if you were to give many of these same books that are being used in schools all across the country, you would be charged with a felony and you would be prosecuted. And yet, in most states, the public schools have managed to get themselves exemptions from these laws. Frankly, I think those exemptions need to end, and I think anybody involved in this disgusting abuse of children, this sexualization of little innocent children, ought to be prosecuted and then jailed. This is a very, very serious matter. You are grooming children for perverse sexual acts. It's so far beyond the pale. You don't even know what to say. Again, we can't even show you this stuff because it's too grotesque. I mean, we can't show you what's written in the book because it's so outrageous, and yet they're giving it to seventh grade children. The reality is, folks, this is going to continue. It's going to continue to get worse as long as American parents, by the millions, continue to allow their children to be abused in this way. If parents keep sending their kids to these indoctrination centers, that's going to be taken as consent, which is the magic word for these perverts, that parents agree that their children ought to be sexualized. It needs to stop, and no one's going to do it except you, Mom and Dad.